Hi guys, remember Lord Frost, the fellow who was sent to Brussels to negotiate the UK withdrawal agreement, then came back, was appointed to the House of Lords, made a minister to help Boris Johnson with the TCA, which was sold as the oven-ready deal, then to trash what he had previously negotiated, claiming that his hands were tied by Theresa May and that the deal was terrible. He also championed Liz Truss over Rishi Sunak when she was running for leader. Well, his idiotic positions are still being listened to by some in the Conservative Party, and he's advising the Tories going forward to push further to the right. However, fellow Tory Guto Harri was having none of it. Have a listen.
Guto, I'm interested to hear what you make of Lord Frost's assessment there, that actually, the Conservatives need to fight for, not in the congested centre ground, but on what he describes as Conservative principles.
It might not surprise you, but I couldn't disagree more. I mean, all that sort of pandering to the right, to the fringe, to the margins of British politics has delivered Nigel Farage 5 seats. The seats that have been lost have gone to the Liberal Democrats from abandoning Boris Johnson's very firm commitment to net zero. Seats have gone to Labour, again, from abandoning things like HS2. And when you describe offering tax cuts, of course we all want tax cuts, but not when you do them on magic money, which is what Liz Truss did and trashed the economy. I don't think anyone was more keen on tax cuts than Boris Johnson, Rishi Sunak, and indeed Jeremy Hunt, but not by waving a magic wand. And I think the sad thing about people like you and Suella Braverman is that you held positions of authority where you had your hands on the levers of this country, and you chose to go off and abandon any attempt to run the country in order to have some sort of right-wing fetish about theological disputes.
Well, I totally...
And you destroyed the party.
Okay.
And the ill-discipline is what actually led to the defeat. That's what led to the defeat, the ill-discipline and this obsession with what happens next and the theology of the right.
He's right. He's correct. I don't often agree with this guy, but he is correct here. The Conservatives pandered to the extremes. They tried to chase Nigel Farage. But Nigel Farage, as I keep saying, is in a unique position where he can say whatever the hell he wants and not be challenged on it, because he's not in power. See, the problem for the Conservatives was that they kept saying, we will bring down immigration. Farage was saying, I will bring down immigration. Put me in charge and I will bring down immigration. Now, what were Farage's ways of bringing down immigration? Well, things that can't really be tested, because he's operating outside reality. But the Conservatives were in the position where they had the levers of power and they didn't bring down immigration. Now, caveat, immigration is not a problem, but for people on the right, it is. So trying to pander to the right when Farage is there available to pander to them as well, you're chasing something that's impossible. Farage sets the bar too high, impossibly high for the Conservatives. He talks about bringing net immigration down to 0. The Conservatives could never achieve that. Even when they're in power, they can't do that. So they're trying to compete with somebody who's offering a pipe dream. Now, what they should have done was to move back to the centre, to present policies that would actually improve ordinary people's lives, that they could actually implement. Pump more money into people's pockets. Improve public services. Pay doctors and nurses more so they can stay, that they won't leave the country, so you can actually bring down NHS waiting lists. It requires effort, it requires investment, it requires time. Rishi Sunak, there was no obligation on Rishi Sunak to call the election straight away. He could have waited until next year. The Tories could have began to implement some policies to help them hold on to a few extra seats. They'd still lose, but they could have mitigated some of this damage. But instead, they focused on immigration, when Nigel Farage was promising a pipe dream. And now you have Lord Frost wanting to go in that direction again. What we need to do is talk about cutting taxes. We need to talk about bringing immigration down. We need to talk about abandoning net zero. It's idiotic. This is a guy who was supporting Liz Truss. He thought that the mini budget when it came out first was a great idea. Has he gone away in disgrace? No, he's been invited on shows to talk once again. People like him need to be distanced from. They need to be marginalised. This is my advice to the Conservative Party. I don't want the Conservative Party back in power, but if I was giving them advice, I'd say move back to the centre. That's where most people are. That's where you're going to win your votes. Not chasing Farage. And you can't beat Farage because for two reasons. You can't out-racist the racists, and you can't compete with somebody who's selling a pipe dream that they know that they will never have to implement. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.